Hello and welcome to those of you that are new to the Daybreak Horsemanship channel. This is the second updated video voiceover of Kenna, the cute little red dun mare who has been in training for the past few weeks for her fear-based aggression issues. If you want more detail on that, you should go back and watch the very first voiceover where I explain her behavior in a bit more detail. So for this video, I just wanted to videotape a quick update. This mare did find a new home as of yesterday. I will be posting 2 more videos of her, one of her updated groundwork and a more in-depth version of her undersaddle work as well. Please keep in mind that this mare has been in training for a few weeks now, so she has made a lot of progress, but she still does have a ways to go before I would consider her well broke. This video is also edited because I didn't set up the camera angle well, whoops, so there was a lot of time that Kenna and I were off the sight view of the camera, which would not be very interesting to watch. So as you can see, the session is focused on our undersaddle work. This was the second time that I had ridden Kenna, and the theme of the sessions for a while with this mare will be learning to relax and trust the human in her new role. Because Kenna is such a sensitive mare while having some pretty defensive opinions about humans, when starting out I choose not to ride her with a bit. I have a rope halter with reins attached. The plan was to get her moving confidently and relaxed without a bit in the walk, trot, and canter before bridling her again, and then choosing a bit that A, fits her smaller sized mouth with the amount of thickness, and B, isn't overly harsh for her level. And by that I mean in the beginning stages, I usually don't use bits with any leverage, and I usually go with a double jointed D-ring snaffle that is smooth over the tongue and bars without any pressure points, and that uses more of a side pull effect that translates better to the horse with what we had been doing on the ground and with the hackamore training. I don't normally like using single jointed snaffles at first just because some of the horses I ride hate when the joint tense and hits the roof of their mouth, and I can prevent some of this by only using one rein at a time, but with green horses you never really know when you're going to need full use of both reins, and I would rather not leave a sour taste in the horse's mind about the bridle if we get into the oh crud moments. So you can see here that Kenna has a bit of tension about being mounted. She steps away several times when I go to put weight in the stirrup. I choose not to make a big deal out of that. The important thing is to be patient, so a lot of this is just waiting for her to release that tension before getting on. And I am also mixing in a bit of reassociation by giving her a cookie when she looks back in concern. That particular tactic works in this particular situation. That is, this mare has fear issues and associates having a rider as being put in a situation that is going to result in a lot of negative pressure. Understanding that this is where this behavior is coming from, giving her cookies when she says, "Hey, this isn't going to be fun for me, so I'd rather not do it," allows me to say, "Yeah, but good things will come out of it this time," and allows me to reassociate her perception of having a rider from something to have tension about as something good instead. So here I put my foot in the stirrup without really putting weight in it, and then I wait for her reaction. Kenna looks away, and while she is mostly soft, she then steps away to say no thank you. Since I am not in any immediate danger, I made the decision to hang tight until she further softened, and then stepped off. And then my decision to move her around the mounting stool was to allow her a bit of a brain break before I brought up the topic of mounting again. And then here her head lowering is a sign of her releasing tension, but when I brought my foot up, she looked at it in concern, so I reassociated the situation and interrupted her worry with a cookie. We then rinsed and repeated this process until she softened just a bit further, and then I got on. Now, so Kenna struggles with walking off when mounted, which is shown in her reluctance to be mounted at all as well. So when she starts to go here in a little bit after I get on, I'm able to bring her back to a halt. So the point of standing there for a minute or two isn't to show her that I'm the boss or anything of the sort. After all, Kenna has had plenty of people tell her that they are the boss and decided to show them that she was bigger after all. But to encourage the perception that being ridden is a relaxing experience, kind of like a, "Hey, now that I'm riding, let's stand here and have a glass of wine together, darling," type situation. That being said, while I say that I'm not trying to be the boss of her, I'm not saying that I'm not trying to be a leader for her. And the difference there is in the attitude. Are you going to try to demand your horse's obedience, or are you going to earn it? So the exercise that we are doing when we get moving is another exercise to solidify Kenna's relaxation under saddle. I put her on a circle, the shape of which makes it hard for her to hold tension in her body, and do my best to keep her at a walk unless the situation changes. Because of how this particular mare moves and thinks about life, I would want her to fully release to the aids of the walk before moving on to the trot. I am really happy with how soft she is moving forward right off the bat. There is something else to be said here as well. If you were to find yourself doing this exercise, there are several things that could get in the way that are outside of the range of what training alone can do. Kenna has had regular, good quality chiropractic work since she started training with me. Pain can block literally any type of good feeling you try to implement in training, so it's important to regularly consider other aspects that could get in the way of what your goals are for that horse. Proper saddle and bridle fit, as well as hoof care, are important things to check for too. Through chiropractic work, it was found that Kenna actually had ribs out of place when brought into training. If that hadn't been resolved, it wouldn't have mattered how many cookies I gave her. Riding and working would have been painful and not a good experience for her. A good balanced diet for the horse also makes a huge difference. When your horse has the right food, their body is going to be able to handle work better, so they aren't going to be as sore, they are going to recover better, and they're going to be able to be more focused while at work. You can usually tell you are getting it right when your horse has a good top line, a good deep shine to their coat, and strong hooves. Back to the exercise, it's important to do the exercise long enough so it makes sense to the horse. You can see Kenna start to relax more and start to swing her body more at the walk under saddle as we progress here. I'm not trying to restrict her head at all, as that wouldn't help her feel relaxed at this stage. I'm just keeping a light contact for the just in case moments, which is if she were to suddenly spook or I suddenly find myself on a bucking bronc, I have enough contact that I can act quickly to get us back to a safe situation. I am also trying to stay loose and soft in my riding, noting that any tension in my body could end up bothering the horse and cause her to be tense. So it is about here that I decided that now would be a good time to start asking for the trot. She is loose, feeling relaxed enough that I would almost put her on a loose rein, so I wanted to see what would happen if I asked. And so I started tickling her sides a bit with my heels, and she does protest with a tail swish here or there, but not in a fear-based manner, which is good. Since my goal isn't to get into a fight with her, I hang on for a few laps and just persist with her. If this wasn't one of the first rides I had had on this mare, or if she hadn't had the opinions of humans that she had, I may have upped my cues a little bit differently. But since this is the first time I'm asking, I allow the reaction time to be as long as necessary and give her a big reward when she tries to do what I ask of her. And then finally off camera here, she commits to the trot. So then here I give her a big release and a good pat and a good job. And I'm gonna end this video here. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time. Bye.